Two legendary action heroes, Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson, team up to face the deadliest Megalodon threat yet. When a secret underwater experiment goes wrong, an army of genetically enhanced MEGs is unleashed, wreaking havoc across the oceans. With time running out, they must dive into the depths, battle against unstoppable monsters, and stop a hidden enemy before the world is consumed by terror from the deep. Jason Statham's character, Jonas Taylor, thought he had seen it all, but nothing could prepare him for what was coming. The ocean had always been his battlefield, but this time the enemy was smarter, deadlier, and not alone. When an underwater research facility detected an anomaly in the Mariana Trench, they knew something massive was lurking in the depths. The signal was unlike anything recorded before. Scientists were baffled, governments were alarmed, and Jonas was once again called back into action. But he wasn't alone this time. Enter a new player, Dwayne Johnson, a former special ops diver turned deep-sea rescue expert. Unlike Jonas, who preferred calculated risks, he was a man who thrived on brute force and instinct. The two had different approaches, different histories, and different tempers, but they had one thing in common: survival. The mission was simple: descend to the anomaly, assess the threat, and report back. But simple missions never stayed that way. As they plunged into the depths aboard a high-tech submarine, the first sign of trouble emerged. The radar showed movement, several large entities circling their vessel. Before they could react, a massive force slammed into them. The submarine's lights flickered as a dark shape glided past the glass. A MEG, but not like before. This one was faster, more aggressive, and far more intelligent. The crew barely made it back to the surface, but the nightmare had just begun. Soon, reports flooded in from across the Pacific. Ships vanishing, entire coastal towns under threat. It wasn't just one MEG, it was a pack. For the first time in history, the MEGs were hunting in coordinated attacks, something no one thought possible. The world was on the brink of an oceanic catastrophe. Jonas and his team devised a plan, a deep-sea ambush using military-grade submarines equipped with sonic disruptors. But their adversaries had evolved. As soon as they descended, the MEGs countered, ramming the subs with terrifying precision. The mission turned into a desperate escape as one sub after another was destroyed. Jonas and Dwayne barely made it out alive, their only option to retreat and rethink their approach. Then came the real revelation. It wasn't a natural occurrence. A rogue billionaire had been conducting illegal experiments deep underwater, genetically altering the MEGs to create the ultimate predators. What began as a military project had spiraled out of control. The creatures had escaped, and now nothing could stop them. Armed with this knowledge, Jonas and Dwayne knew there was only one way to end this: destroy the facility and the MEGs before they could reach heavily populated areas. But getting there meant navigating through the hunting grounds of the deadliest creatures ever to exist. A high-speed chase erupted across the ocean as the MEGs pursued their boat. Dwayne stood at the back, gripping a harpoon gun, waiting for the perfect moment. The first MEG breached the water, its jaws wide open. He fired, the harpoon struck, but it barely slowed the creature. Jonas made a sharp turn, barely avoiding the second attack. Helicopters overhead dropped depth charges, but the MEGs were relentless. In a last-ditch effort, they lured the creatures toward an old oil rig, rigging it with explosives. The final battle unfolded in the heart of a raging storm. Jonas and Dwayne fought side by side, dodging debris, firing everything they had. The biggest MEG yet, a true behemoth, rose from the water, its sheer size enough to send shockwaves through the ocean. Jonas knew what he had to do. With one final harpoon shot, he hit the detonator, triggering a massive explosion. The rig collapsed, sending fire and metal into the stormy sky. The ocean raged, and for a moment everything went still. Then, the MEGs sank, their reign of terror finally over. As the storm cleared and the sun broke through the clouds, Jonas and Dwayne looked at the horizon. The battle was won, but something deep down told them this wasn't the end. The ocean had more secrets, and some were better left undiscovered.